have here the prototype of the brand new Adidas F50 that should have released today, if I am quick enough with this video. Let's get it out of the box. Here it is. Now, this isn't obviously the purple and green colorway that released today. This is the prototype that's been worn by all the pros, Messi included, up until this point when they've gone for the full colorway, but it is essentially the same boot. If you want to check out a full 20-minute breakdown of this, you need to check out my other video, but I'm going to try and break this down for you in about 5 minutes. So first things first, what's in the box? We've got the F50 Elite FG sticker here. Now, this obviously pretty much just means that this is going to be the top end version of this boot. We're expecting to get this, which has a floating tongue or a tunnel, which I'll show you in a second. And then we're going to get a laceless model and maybe a one-piece laced model as well. So you've got a variety of options, at least 3 top-end models, but this should be considered the very top end from Adidas. We got a string bag. Again, bear in mind, this is a prototype, so there is nothing on the string bag. It's just white. And then on top of that, we've got a second set of insoles. This is Super F50. Obviously, see the F50 branding there. And these are the comfort insoles. And then as well as the comfort insoles in the boot, you are going to get, if I can get them out, a pair of lightweight insoles. My advice, always the same, put the comfort insoles in, don't worry about a few grams, you'll be good to go. Speaking of weight, Adi have gone for something very lightweight here. These are gonna come in at 158 grams. Now bear in mind, this is a very small size. This is a US size 6.5, UK 6. So bigger sizes will obviously weigh more. So the upper is using what I believe to be the sprint web technology that we've seen before. However, if you were hoping for or expecting a hybrid touch similar to that of what you would have gotten from the 2014 adizero, you are going to be sorely disappointed. This is far more similar to what you are going to get from the Speedflow, but with added texture, definitely a little bit thinner, and it uses the same technology as we got on that X99 with the mesh that has been covered over both sides with what looks to be a polyurethane coating. This means that it's going to be super responsive, really stable, and at the same time very thin, very barefoot, and incredibly direct when it comes to the touch. However, there is also texture on the upper. A criticism I had of the Speedflow, and if you've seen my review of the Speedflow, these two compared, then you'll know that I did criticize how smooth this was. The F50 has texture all through this area here, up here, across the toe box in the toe area, and through onto the midfoot lateral side. Now, it's not overdone, it's not going to be overly grippy or anything like that, but this on maybe a wet surface is going to be very welcome without interrupting that super barefoot, super direct touch that we absolutely want here. The upper itself is soft enough, especially for a synthetic like this. It's not overly stiff. We're definitely not talking ghosted levels of stiff here, but we're also not talking F50 levels of hybrid touch soft. The outsole, stud pattern, stud shape is looking pretty good. It's very much an amalgamation of what you're going to get from the Speedflow, from the Ghosted, and also from the Crazy Fast. Kind of brought all of those learnings together. One thing that I have noticed is that it's definitely not as springy or as stable and stiff as you got from, for example, the Speedflow, or really from the Crazy Fast. So that's going to be an interesting one to try when we get the full retail boot. Have they kind of made this a little bit more flexible, a little bit more user-friendly deliberately, or is this just something that happened on the prototype? Adidas are definitely aiming for more of a multi-directional movement element here. You can see that with the conical studs as well as the studs, the same shape, exactly the same as we got from the Ghosted and the Speedflow, and that is reflected in the fact that this is the Sprint Frame 360, bringing back the Sprint Frame name as opposed to the Speed Frame, and this is designed to go in multi-direction while still being super aggressive, and I think it's definitely going to achieve all of those things. Shape and fit wise, these don't seem too too narrow. There is a little bit of width in here. Now bear in mind that they are obviously going to be more adjustable because we have this lacing system which looks like it leads into a floating tongue, a standard tongue construction, which it absolutely doesn't. This is attached at either end. It is a tunnel that has been added to the inside of the boot. I love this idea. I love the idea that it's going to give you a really great locked in sensation, provided it fits your foot well, while at the same time allowing you to adjust the width of the boot a little bit more, get something that's a little bit more of a custom fit. This could be a really great middle ground between the one piece and the standard tongue construction. So if you're wondering, are they good for wide feet? I can't really tell you at this point. I need to get a pair in hand for myself of the new ones, but with the additional adjustability, yes, with this tunnel, that could be very, very dependent. If you've got a narrower foot, I don't see you having any issues with the tunnel and then the adjustable lacing system. Volume-wise, these are a fairly low volume looking boot, especially through this toe box area, and very similar in shape to what we had on the Speedflow. So if you manage to wear a Speedflow 0.1, then you're probably going to get a very similar shape when it comes to the volume and also through the width. They do seem quite similar. The construction as a whole is leading me to think that the lockdown and the responsiveness on this is going to be excellent, and I am very excited about this boot. I think there is enough elements of the Speedflow, which I believe to be one of the absolute best Adidas speed boots that has ever been made. So I reckon that's amazing. I reckon this is going to be close to that, potentially even better when you consider things like this grip texture. And if you want to check out my comparison review, click this video right here.